Wow, the White House just said that something really big is about to happen for Bitcoin. Only 2 days left. And this is leading to the US becoming the crypto capital of the world. That's pretty wild. Eric Trump is currently pumping the Bitcoin price and is praising himself for the insider information he has shared with the market. Contrarian indicator Jim Cramer is actually saying that Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan have messed up with their criticism of Bitcoin. We're seeing more and more people now criticizing Bitcoin critics for having criticized Bitcoin. How crazy is that? And we're seeing fund managers criticizing other fund managers for not getting into Bitcoin. They're saying that if you don't get into Bitcoin as a fund manager now, you'll lose your job and miss out on a 10x opportunity. Cynthia Lummis is coming out strongly in favor of Bitcoin. Guys, it's just insane. We're back in full swing now, and the news just keeps coming. The price is also looking pretty good right now. And now, everything is really coming together. So awesome. What a time to be alive. Smash the like button below for new all-time highs, for even higher Bitcoin prices. We need every like so people really wake up. These videos get pushed by the algorithm, and the Bitcoin price gets pumped even higher. Hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. Drop me a like, and leave a comment below letting me know what you think of my new sun protection. Because as you can see, it's all sunshine here. You really have to protect yourself from the sun. That's why I put on this new sun hat. And you never know, it might start raining sheep, so I'm well prepared in case it does. So nothing lands on my head or anything like that. So go ahead and leave me a rating from my outfit. 1 is super bearish, and 21 is hyper bullish. And as Michael Saylor says, just get in. So now is the time to jump in. It's always been a good time to get in. But right now is, of course, still a good time to get in. Michael Saylor says anything under $1 million is a good time to get in. That means, even at $1 million, theoretically, it's still a good time to get in. Because you always need to have a long-term time horizon. I always get the question, Mark, should I still get in at? Yeah, I can't tell you that. You have to decide that for yourself, of course. If you're looking at it long-term, over 5 or 10 years, then it's probably always a good time to get in. But if you get in right now, of course, it can definitely happen that you're in the red for a few weeks. Or maybe even years. You just don't know. After 4.5 years, with Bitcoin we've always been in the green. But right now it looks more like we're going up rather than going down. The betting markets currently estimate there's a 45% chance that by the end of the week, or rather the end of July, we'll hit 125,000 US dollars, and a 67% chance that we'll reach 120,000 US dollars. So, it's pretty likely that we'll close July higher than where we are now. And of course, there's also a small chance, 4%, that we'll climb to 150,000 in the next few days. But of course, that's very, very unlikely. But it's not completely out of the question. Here, the 130,000 mark, 22% by the end of July. So that's still possible as well. You always have to keep in mind that despite the positive price developments, there are still a lot of banks sitting on the sidelines. The money market funds, which still have something like 7 or 8 trillion to pump into the market, are also waiting on the sidelines. The general TradFi world, which is still standing on the sidelines as well. Then we have the Fed, which still hasn't cut interest rates. So there are a whole lot of factors at play. The Bitcoin Act also still has to go through. That hasn't happened yet either. And the bull market, or the bull run, could get really, really explosive here, folks. I mean, guys, just look at this. The S&P 500 valued in Bitcoin, or denominated in Bitcoin, over the last 12 years is down 99.98%. And it's no different with fiat money if we price it in Bitcoin. And now, all these prominent people are joining in as well. Eric Trump is a big Bitcoin supporter. He also says here that Bitcoin will rise to $1 million. And he says here, hey, now is a good time to get into Bitcoin. And he quotes this. He already said it back in February. And now he says, you're welcome. Back then, he gave the insider information. And now, of course, Bitcoin has shot up. I mean, you didn't have to be a genius or an expert for that. I always say this, because some people ask, hey, how did you know that? And so on. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin goes up when the money supply keeps expanding and there's just a massive, excess demand. That means there's more demand for Bitcoin than there is supply. And now Donald Trump says, hey, congratulations to everyone who got into Bitcoin. And you're welcome. You're all invited. And yeah, I was happy to give you those tips, those insider infos. That means Eric Trump is really going all in here, pumping up the Bitcoin price. Back then, maybe some people laughed, like, yeah, what's he even talking about and so on. But to be fair, I think he said the same thing about Ethereum. I'd have to take a closer look now, but I can see that over the past 6 months, Ethereum is actually down. So I'm not entirely sure whether, since Eric Trump said it around the same time, his Ethereum tip actually worked out or didn't work out. Could be, it's still in the red. And that's just crazy, that the big players like Donald Trump, Eric Trump, Larry Fink, BlackRock, and so on, are all in on pumping up the Bitcoin price. And now, pay attention. Attention, attention. Here, straight from the WHI, attention, the White House says, a great week lies ahead. So, just 2 more days until the next week starts. It's crypto week at the House, meaning here at the White House. The Genius Bill is being handed to the president at his desk. And the Clarity Act, is moving to the Senate, so it's going to the Senate. It's time to make America the crypto capital of the whole world. That means the White House is also working hard here to pump up the Bitcoin price, just boosting the mood, tuning the sentiment just right. And also, how do you say it? Laying the groundwork, simply providing regulatory certainty here with the Genius thing, the Genius Act for stablecoins, then of course the market structure, and here the Clarity Act. But it's not really a Clarity Act, rather it's clarity that's coming to the Senate here. And then there's one thing that's really, really important. He says here that they want to make the USA the crypto capital of the world. And I always wonder, if you're going to make the USA the crypto capital of the world, then in my opinion, you absolutely have to buy Bitcoin. You can't do that without buying Bitcoin. And you shouldn't do it in small amounts either. You have to do it in really massive quantities. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you want to make the USA the crypto capital or the Bitcoin capital, then in my opinion you also have to clearly say, hey folks, we need to put an end to capital gains tax here. That means we need to stop taxing Bitcoin here. And Cynthia Lummis is also saying something about this. And just a minute ago, you were here. No need to watch the whole thing. But here Senator Lummis makes it very clear. She is calling for the removal of capital gains tax on Bitcoin payments. This is happening live on Fox News. You really have to see this for yourself. So, the mood in the USA is completely different. By the way, nice t-shirt here. Check this out. Awesome t-shirt. Freedom is made from courage. So, of course, we also need a bit of courage to get involved with Bitcoin and the freedom movement. But in any case, Cynthia Lummis is saying here. Oh, and I'll put a link to the t-shirts down below. But Cynthia Lummis is basically saying here that we need to get rid of all of this. Because only then can Bitcoin be used here as legal tender, as official currency, and as an equal means of payment. Otherwise, fiat currency isn't taxed, but Bitcoin is. So, you don't really have a competitive disadvantage here if you use Bitcoin. And that's why I think this is a pretty extreme demand, especially when you consider that in Germany, they're basically calling for the opposite. Even more taxes, taxing Bitcoin even more, suspending the one-year holding period. There have already been all these kinds of proposals. Okay, now it's being pushed back a bit again, but it's still really, really interesting. There was also something very, very shocking here, namely that current statistics show that the total number of Bitcoin holders here has decreased, probably due to the net liquidation of wallets and private investors exiting the market. This recent exodus happened before Bitcoin broke out to its new all-time high. This is not unusual, since in the past, rising price movements were often preceded by retail investors selling here. And that's exactly why I say, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you're prepared here, so you don't end up getting wrecked and then selling here in panic or at a loss. Just yesterday, I read a report about someone who sold their Bitcoin at a loss at around 60 or 70,000 because they panicked. Bitcoin keeps dropping even further. That person just didn't subscribe to the YouTube channel. They didn't do their homework. They didn't read any books, didn't listen to any podcasts, didn't watch any YouTube videos, didn't do their research, maybe never even went to a Bitcoin event or anything like that. And that's the kind of person who panics, because the network isn't there, because they're missing the information. You have to educate yourself, and that's something I've said many times. Real money and real winners are made in bear markets. Now is the awesome phase. When things go up, you can take the gains, but the real heroes are always made in the bear markets, in the down phases, when you don't sell, when you hodl through it, when you stay strong here. And now, pay attention, check this out. What Jim Cramer has to say about JP Morgan, who have always been very critical of Bitcoin.
Which now faces a 10-year gain of NVIDIA, Amazon. That's wrong. He may have got Bitcoin wrong. The thing he's gotten right is he's been the CEO since 2000. What he's gotten right is that JP Morgan's got an $800 billion market. He's got Satoshi. That's what shareholders care about. When it comes to predictions, I'm always going to listen, because how can you not listen? And by the way, it's always refreshing because he actually speaks his mind in a way that many CEOs are incapable of doing. Okay, so David.
So now they're talking about Bitcoin, and it's made very clear here that Jamie Dimon was not right with his criticism of Bitcoin, and that it's just nonsense to criticize Bitcoin. We can also see now that Bank of America has declared Bitcoin as the best performing asset this year, and they've officially reported it as such. You can just see, hey, the banks are coming, the asset managers are coming, the big players are coming. If you criticize Bitcoin now, or if it later comes out that you were a naysayer or a Bitcoin critic, it's really not a good look these days. It doesn't sound so good, and that's exactly what Dan Tapiero is saying here, who runs his own fund worth $1.5 billion. Just listen to what he's saying here, because this is FOMO kicking in on a whole different level. Attention, attention, listen up.
Maybe in the future, over the next 10 years, if you're not an endowment, if you're an endowment or a pension, and you don't have exposure, I think your performance is going to be, obviously relatively problematic, but maybe you have your job is threatened.
Wow, guys, did you hear that? That means if you're a pension fund, an endowment, or something like that, a wealth manager, over the next 10 years, not only will your performance suffer, your performance will be crap, but your job will be gone. You're just going to have a big problem. And that's exactly what's already happening now. Look guys, I'm sitting here with some weird kid's hat or something on, and people are cracking up and thinking, what kind of freak is that? But honestly, I'm just sitting here with this hat on. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just chilling, talking into the microphone every now and then, sometimes lying on the beach. Or earlier I was lying on a bench in the sun. I haven't gone swimming in the Neckar yet today, but I'm just chilling here, living my life, and basically managing to outperform every hedge fund manager. Every damn hedge fund manager has a different performance compared to me. That means I just chill in the sun, I lie there, I make sure I'm feeling good. Of course, you have to make sure, for example, to hodl Bitcoin, ideally not sell it, and then you can outperform every hedge fund manager here, Ray Dalio, or even Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and so on. You can outperform all of them. Check this out. Warren Buffett is sitting on massive cash reserves right now. He's been waiting for what feels like 3, 4, 5 months for the dip to get back into the market. And meanwhile, Bitcoin has shot up massively. He's missing out on all the gains. And we're all in the game here. And that's just the new world now. The old hedge fund managers, who are trading all day, getting all worked up, stressed out, and going on and on about this and that, blah blah blah, they're all going to underperform. They're going to lose their jobs. And in the end, they'll have to go collect bottles. And us, we're just chilling here now. We simply have Bitcoin. We hodl through. And we just know, that's it. Yeah, there is no second best. And now, it's not about doing any crazy, kamikaze stuff anymore. No, we've now reached a time where we have such a superior asset that we basically don't have to worry about anything anymore. Don't have to stress about it. We can take care of our family. We can take care of our health. We can work out. We can actually become awesome people. Be awesome human beings. We can focus again on just being human. And the portfolio grows automatically, without us having to trade all day long. And that's the awesome idea, the awesome story here with Bitcoin. Of course, we can also say, okay, hey, maybe we'll take on a bit more risk with treasury companies and so on. Do a bit of research there and so forth. You can do all that, but just the standard, basic investment in Bitcoin is already so good that you really don't have to do much more.
You know, I think it's been the best performing asset in the history of the world. And I think over the next 10 years, now, you know, with the new 50T fund we have coming out, our view is that Bitcoin goes 10x from here in 10 years. We'll hit 1 million.
And look at how confidently they just say, yeah, Bitcoin will increase tenfold and reach 1 million. That's not my moonshot prediction. I mean, that's not so far-fetched. In any case, it's absolutely crazy what's going on. If you still want to get a hardware wallet, which I would recommend, always keep your Bitcoin on a hardware wallet. There's currently a TREZOR promotion. Just click the link below. Right now, you can still get a TREZOR hardware wallet with the annual discount. Or, well, what does annual discount even mean? With this promotion, because it's TREZOR's birthday for the TREZOR 5 hardware wallet, you get 20% off. I'll put a link below. You can use Bitcoin Hotel, and there's another discount there. And if you want to buy Bitcoin at 21 Bitcoin, you can use the code Bitcoin Hotel to get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. So definitely check that out too. The link is down below, folks. See you until then. Peace.